have their exits and their entrances. How many times have we passed through the doorways of Bradshaw? These doorways have served as both our exits and entrances for the past 4 years. Now we have passed through them for our final time as Bruins. Let us reflect on our initial passage through those doors. For some of us, Bradshaw began to take hold of our hearts before we had gained the right to sing the alma mater. Brothers, sisters, parents, and friends had attended Bradshaw. We had been to a candlelight ceremony, a bonfire, or a graduation, had heard the chants, cheers, fight song, and alma mater countless times. However, our bond to Bradshaw was not complete until we walked through those doors as true Bruins. Others of us had never heard the alma mater, or for that matter, had never heard of Henry A. Bradshaw before our arrival. Several entered from other schools after many Bradshaw memories had been made. Others exited, never to return. Remember the first day as freshmen, the nervous excitement, the anxious fear? How many of us really thought an elevator pass to the pool, or trembled at the thought of being taped to the flagpole? We realized we had left behind the world of childhood games. We were now playing with the big kids that could drive, skip lunch from McDonald's, and stay out past 10. After the fear passed, we looked up to the upperclassmen with admiration, especially the seniors. The class of '91 accepted us as their understudies. We watched their nonchalant gait to class as we frantically ran, juggling 7 books because of forgotten locker combinations and fearing the ring of the tardy bell. We learned a lot about life that freshman year. Keep the halls and cafeteria clean, a hall pass in your hand, and the noise level down. And we owe it all to the famed 797 program. Just think, if we had earned 5 breaks in a row, we could have watched the juniors and seniors leave campus for off-campus lunch. However, we learned the most about being a Bruin at our first candlelight ceremony. It was our introduction to the challenge of the mark. With the challenges the class of '91 gave us, Bradshaw began to take root in our hearts. While this was our official entrance into the heart of Bradshaw, it was also our first lesson in goodbyes. As we unconsciously shed tears with the seniors at that first candlelight ceremony, we realized that they would soon exit through those doorways. It was a year of first. How sly we felt pinning the rock for the first time. How confused we were at the first pep rally. How courageous we felt as one among us took the senior during our first homecoming week. We exited the doors of Bradshaw for summer vacation, geared for the 3 years ahead, thinking graduation was so far in the distance. We entered our sophomore year, and we knew the teachers and our classmates, and we began to know ourselves. People exited and entered our lives as friendships evolved, and we began to emerge as individuals. And in between all of these exits and entrances, we still had time to copy our entire health book by hand. It definitely was a slow-paced year, except for the rush of excitement as we won our first pep rally and were victorious in the homecoming hunt competition. As juniors, the pace quickened. Deadlines piled up, major tests coincided, and obligations pulled us in many different directions. This year held its disappointments, the loss of privileges because of violence, and it held its excitement, our first prom. Still, we felt more than ready to exit our junior year. As the senior year began, all we could echo was, "I cannot wait until we are out of here." We were seniors and could not wait for our exit, or could we? Our actions reflected different feelings. How many times at candlelight ceremony did we think, "I don't want to let go," referring to the neck we were hugging, the friendships we had developed, and the memories we had accumulated. We didn't want to make our exit from the flame that has challenged us and warmed us. However, With the trials and merriment which followed, we realized that this exit or others would not break the bonds we had formed less than 4 years ago. How could we leave the people with whom we have danced through the night at prom, or with whom we have shared a patch of poison ivy at all those campouts? Finally, as seniors, we have learned the lesson of goodbyes, of exits and entrances that the class of '91 tried to teach us. Though we are about to depart Bradshaw and enter a new stage in our lives, Bradshaw will never leave our hearts. We are ready to exit the stage. We are prepared to make our grand entrance into the world.
And one man in his time plays many parts. Nap time, sandboxes, Little League, show and tell, the Tooth Fairy, passing notes, slumber parties, and underoos, all fond childhood memories. Then there are the not-so-happy memories. Shots, your first paddling, having your mouth washed out with soap, chicken pox, falling off your bike, and getting lost in the supermarket. While playing the part of a child, we were happy and uninhibited and tested all of the limits. This was a time in which we learned all of the really important things, such as how to read and write, how to always look both ways and hold hands when crossing the street, how to share what you have, play fair, say you're sorry, and always flush. As we grew older and entered the double digits, we built upon these essential life lessons and prepared ourselves to play another very important part. Those films and booklets given out by the school nurse helped tremendously. As we began to play the part of adolescence in limbo, we realized that our days of children's menus and eating free were gone. Childish toys were put away, but not forgotten, as we tried to ready ourselves for our new part in life's play. Junior high was a completely different world. We stayed true to old friends and met new faces every day. We went to ball games, fell in love, and went to our first dances. Lockers, changing classes, and dressing out in PE made us feel important and powerful, but were tremendous sources of stress and grief. Narrow halls, crowded with pushy preteens, forgetting books and locker combinations, or yelling because someone burned their lock. If nothing else, we learned patience with ourselves and others from this role, and we grew. As teenagers entering Bradshaw High School, we took on our toughest role to date. The bigger school brought bigger challenges, but with each year we met them and grew closer. The new locker combinations, intimidating masses of people, and different bell schedules frightened us at first, but in time we settled down and realized that playing the part of a teenager wasn't as bad as the media made it out to be. These teenage years brought opportunities to become more involved in our school and community, which brought increased responsibilities. We were allowed to stay out later and get jobs. We learned how to drive and rolled yards. There were more parties, dates, dances, and athletic events where we met new faces and added to our group of friends. During these years, we learned how to think for ourselves and still be a team player. We discovered that it was important to have opinions and stand up for them, but we also learned acceptance of other people's differences. Some emerged as leaders and others as followers. We discovered who we are and who we can be in the future. The value of true friends became evident as they helped us deal with tragedies and learn to laugh at ourselves. We learned how to be organized and how to forge our parents' names if we ran out of time in the mornings. In the 4 years that we have played this role, we have grown and matured, made many more memories, and learned valuable life lessons that will help us as we enter the world stage. This brings us to tonight. From this night forward, we will all go our separate ways and play many different parts in life's play. It is up to you to decide which part you are going to play. Some of you will play the part of the college student. Some will try the role of married life, while others will try to find jobs or become world travelers. Whatever part you choose will bring more responsibility. There is no set path you must travel. The possibilities are endless.